Hello everyone, welcome back. We are in our fourth day for our AnyAUT certified tester training. We'll take a quick look at what we did so far. But very importantly, I also want to talk about the next steps, what we can do. So a few things we'll go through, everyone. So team, all of you must have worked on this Excel, downloaded and executed at your end. So I'm going to quickly go into our runner and play around more. So what was the one we were working on, everyone? Was it Costco? Is this the one that we were building? Costco 3? Yes, no, team. I need interaction, everyone, either on the chat, and if you want your audio to be open, raise your hand, I'll unmute you. You can stay muted at your end, everyone. It is an important session, a lot of focus is required. So now this is the Excel sheet. I'm going to save this sheet, team, and let's talk about what we did on this and maybe take it to the next level. Okay. So just a quick overview. We were working on Costco.com as a sample application and test, and we were building what is it that we want to execute on that application step by step in our test cases. And for each test case, what is it that I'm doing? I'm also putting it into the Excel sheet, everyone. So there are primarily a few concepts that we talk about in automation frameworks. How many of you are good in automation frameworks, team? I wish I had a poll question for it. Let me see. I'm giving a poll question, everyone. Now, this might give me a perspective. It does not tell me if you know automation frameworks, but if you know, like if you worked on even one of our projects with Barkasa, it's still an automation project. So can you all quickly answer this poll, please? Should not take more than a few minutes. So for those of you who did not work on any real-time automation project, can say no. Absolutely, that's fine. Not in here, please. On the screen, everyone. Are you able to click on the screen? And try and join these webinars from a laptop or a desktop, everyone, or a Mac, whatever. Okay. I'm going to quickly close this poll, if I may, and move on to a few steps there. Unable to click, unable to select. Anyone else sees an audio issue from my end? I saw one individual saying my audio is breaking up. Audio is good? Okay. Shamitra, please check it to your end. And I stopped the background noise also. So team, I'm going to close this poll. Only 72% of you voted. I want you to be a little bit more active going forward. I'm going to share this. This is not a bad poll at all, everyone. So, you know, most of you have worked on it. A few of you have not. So that's a great distribution. One more poll, team, because I had something that I created. I would want this one, team. So how many of you know the difference between CTAF versus AnyAUT? That would be my first question. And regarding this is the same as to what AnyAUT does and CTAF does, please. It's a comparison. So everyone, and if you don't know CTAF, you can say no. Or you know what is CTAF basically means you have not even heard of it. taking few more polls from the screen. No, and what is CTAF? Okay, so there's 2 more votes going there. 3 more votes going for what is CTAF? Never heard CTAF. Okay. What's your vote then, Divya? I'm going to close the poll questions team. Some of you are not able to click on it. Anyone else? Okay, close team. One more poll. I mean, one more poll. And since anyone else remaining to give their answers. Shit. So that's one of the polls where I've seen that 30% of you team who are working or actively or not very actively on CTAF in the project. And the remaining 60% of you have not worked on it. A decent number of people don't even know what CTAF is. And I'll talk about that, everyone. Last poll question, I'm sorry, I will need that. Just because I need to know how many of you will be able to work on an ongoing basis on CTAF. While you're doing this poll team, if you're a JPAC member or not, the main reason is for the JPAC members, we want to pull you and take you into a longer direction with CTAF. I've got 2 more yes on the chat. It's just yes or no answer, everyone. Okay, can I close the polls? Great. So those are the responses. Almost 70% are JPAC members. So please focus on this team. We're going to talk about it. All right. So hide and close. Can you all see my screen back? Now let's talk about what is AnyAUT and what is CTAF team. And then there are a lot of similar things that we are doing. Okay. So AnyAUT is primarily, why am I drawing here? So your AnyAUT, why is that's your automation framework team. Okay. And CTAF is Climatic Test Automation Framework. It is a client implementation of AnyAUT. So there are certain differences there. So CTAF is a client implementation of AnyAUT. And this is a large size. Customized with only UI so far on AnyAUT. So AnyAUT framework did not change much. The simplest way to look at it is if I go to my AnyAUT Excel runner and I launch my framework on desktop, this is what I will see. So it is picking up an Excel, or I can pick it and run it. In the basic same sense, CTAF is the client implementation version. So in here, the major change that we did primarily is adding the client logos, and almost everything else is the same. Now, what we did additionally is a end-to-end CI/CD integrated. That means our framework. So basically, I'll just say the tools that we're using. We use Jenkins to trigger automation runs. GitHub for maintaining a CTAF regression suite. I'll explain to you. For example, Costco.com is a large application. Do you think only 3-4 test cases will be enough? Do you think there'll be only a couple of modules? Not necessarily. These modules will go in large sizes everywhere. So what that means is your regression suite is going to be very large. And unlike the ones that we saw here, the regression excels in, for example, CTAF, Go, the same template, but the number of things that you will see is increased. So now we have about 60 plus modules. We have, I believe, 450 plus test cases. And when we look at the test steps, there are like 6,000 plus of them. And all of these, we built them so that the execution is done on the client. So the primary changes are these. Why am I getting so many? How do I have to hide my notifications? What else did I want to say? Large sized regression excels are maintained. But team, I'm going to spend another 5 minutes on this and I have to move on to a few topics. And I have to talk about a few things there too. So this is a large sized input Excel team. Okay. So when I launch this and I say I want this to be executed, the results will be significantly large as well. So for example, the phase 2 result that I did the other day, it has a report.html that is 25 MB. Now in my AnyAUT, if you look at the results, the recent one that we did for Costco, see 80 kilobyte compared to CTAF, which is 26 MB. If I open this report.html, report, you would notice, team, that this test took 6 hours, 11 minutes overall to execute non-stop. And it goes in a rigorous manner, team. It does not stop. There's a lot that we are planning to do under optimization of this further, but it primarily is the same framework. Okay, there's no primary difference on it. Now this says it's 93% passed. So out of this, I could always choose and say, which are the test cases that failed? So I can list and sort out only the failed test cases here and be able to re-execute them by selecting them in the Excel and say, you know what, these scenarios fail. We need to take a look at that. The reason for them failing could be anything. And that is where we have to go dig deeper and see. It says name underscore TB is displayed. So this failed. Why did it fail? I can go deeper and see, hey, you know what? This is where there's a failure. We manually need to go back and see what is right, wrong in this, and maybe fix our automation scripts or maybe do something. So this becomes an extensive report. So CTAF is a large size project. Like you saw in the initial poll questions team, it is all about, you've seen how many members are already working on CTAF. They're all the earlier JPAC members. And so you basically become an AnyAUT certified developer by working on this project team. There are a lot of things that happen here. Okay. AnyAUT is our overall automation framework, and we can do custom implementations. Now, what it also has is a web UI / cloud. The reason I say cloud is I can go to .com/x. I think it's already logged in. So let me AnyAUT.com/login. It's still logged in. Log out. So this is my login page. I want you all to sign up on AnyAUT.com/x. Okay. Now, once you log in, have I shown you this web UI earlier? Anyone? Primarily, whatever you see in that Excel sheet can also be maintained in here on the web front end. So I can go and search for any test case. For example, I want to edit a course. Okay. Under edit course, I see these are my different steps that are coming. It's pretty interactive, responsive. It gives us a guidelines of what to do. You cannot make certain mistakes, which are human. So now primarily for this, you can use an Excel or web, okay, to create your regression suite. Now, once you create it on the web, you can export the test setup. So it will give us that entire test setup Excel, just like what we did for Costco. And I can use this, select what I want from it and say, you know what, I want to run this case, that case, this is the story that I want to launch and so on. So your web UI has a one-way connection right now, team, where from the web, it is going, you can create an Excel out here. And right now we're working also on an import feature where from Excel, I can also put it back. So that will make things pretty much a lot clearer. What I want to execute in terms of my selections of the test are out here. So pretty complex as an app team. If I've not gone here, Excel is easier to start with. I can select my test data set. I can say view it, what test is what combination. So all that is something that you can look into. Then there are test runs. Anything you prepare becomes one specific run with what is selected. You can take that Excel and say, you know what, I have already selected some Excels. I want to run from there. And comes the test results. Anytime I have finished the test, I can also upload that back into one of these files here. So let's see. Yeah, I've already uploaded a file, testrun_la dev.zip. So this will have the screenshots, everything. Let me explain this process once again. So I can go to the code and a few announcements also to make on. Sit down. Now, please do note source code for both of these is almost the same and it is not accessible unless you are working in the development of this project. So very few people are working on the development and just want to showcase on it. Now, any questions on this so far, team? There are a couple of things that I wanted. There's so much to talk, but I need to, let's see. What did I want to show? Once again, look into this. Permission framework 10. Um, let's take a look at this team. It will be very clear for us to be able to relate to the code after this. Okay. Now, so far, what have we been doing? We've taken a costco.xls. Correct? That's the file. Now, what am I doing with it? I'm putting it into AnyAUT Excel runner. Okay, locally. Now, this runner will execute the tests on multiple browsers. Correct? And we can choose it to be on Chrome, Edge, Firefox, Safari, whatever. Once the execution is done, then we get the report as to what happened. That's primarily the process. Okay. So it can be broken down into a few pieces. So first is I need to prepare my test. So what is it that I need to do? What is this runner saying? How do I need to prepare and so on? Then I need to be able to run or execute the test. And that's exactly what we're doing on the browsers. And finally, I'm getting to get, sorry for that handwriting team, get results. And that is what the reports are trying to do for us. So far so good, everyone. Now, you only have to focus on the small Excel sheets to begin with. Then it is easy to enlarge. Now, what happens, team? Hopefully 5-10 minutes, I should be able to start with the code walkthrough. But before that, Ramu has a few things to discuss. Okay, now let's talk about frameworks and why they came. So initially, basically, there's a test case. I need to look at a test case. What is it? I want to see if a user is able to, make a online transfer through their smartphones, through their mobile devices. So now, what happens is I will run it using one transaction. I'll put it one test data. Okay. What is my test data? User is in LA, has to transfer to someone in New Jersey. The amount is $250. And here is the receiver, here is the sender details, address, and so on. All that becomes my test data. Now, what if I want to also test from New Jersey to LA or from LA to Chicago, maybe over the limit, under the limit like $5, or over $10,000? What do we do? So then there's a second set of test data, then there's a third set of test data, and so on. So what am I saying, team? The same scenario, I want to repeat it on different sets of data. So in this case, my test case, which is there, I can give it a flavor to it. Okay, the same thing is there, right, team? I'll put this as items all. Okay. And here I'll say TD01, TD02, TD03. I only want to execute this, but you'll see the difference. Okay. How many test cases do I have for execution selected? One test case. I'm saying I will repeat it on 3 sets of data here. Chrome, and that is one way of doing it, team. But getting this as a different data, let's look at how it's data. Now at the end, you will see a sheet called test data. If I copy this and I put it here, I'd say this is TD01. This is TD02. This is TD03. I've not yet gone to the test steps, just showing you how we can do it. So the same browser, I don't think we're using anything. The search term here is laptops. The next one I want to use, what was the other one, team? We were looking at ice creams. And maybe a speaker, I'll say. Now look at what I could do. See, there's no difference between these steps except for the fact that one column is changed. Where laptop is here, ice cream is here, blah, blah, blah is here. Now what do I want to do? I will take this and created a new test case, a smarter one. And what was the name of it? This is where you have to be very careful to give the correct naming everywhere. So here, from here, okay? That's the new one. I don't have anything for verified results yet. So there's a lot to go when you want to do in-depth, but if you don't know the basics, then you cannot go in depth. If you know a few fundamental basics, very easy to navigate further. Okay, because any tool, SAS-based, things like Catalan or Cypress or any tools that you'll find, team, end of it have to get this going. Otherwise, how will you be able to represent content information? Let's do something. Okay. Anyway, so now what I do? The only change here is this will become a reusable test data. And here, what is the name of this? vSearch term. Team, are you very clear with what I am doing? I think it is vSearch term. So like in the diagram, I'm taking that one scenario and I'm saying that one scenario, I want it to be repeated on different sets of data. Why should I write the same test case over and over again? That becomes my data-driven framework. Okay, I can do this at a code level by writing a test ng or to read from an Excel, write back to an Excel. I can do every coding logic possible using Selenium WebDriver, Java, C# or Python. UFT can do a lot of it. There's so many automations tools can do. What we are doing is our engine is common, is our AnyAUT runner. Our details is what we will change. So the biggest difference is it one-time use or reusable? Now, the way it does is it'll take this test case, execute it each time for each of this same test case team. So let's save this if I can and run it. It's very simple. We're making progression team. This should not be a major challenge for us overall. And demo underscore cost for 4. 6 seconds wait, execute it. Hopefully it runs in the back end. And now while that is happening, I want to hand it over to Ramu team. So team, I want you to give you an update to everyone. Ramu has joined full time with Varkasa. He's working with us offshore and he has been placed into our AnyAUT climatic project team. So he's working directly with the customer. So there's a lot of activities that he's involved into a daily basis. And some of these activities, even we will be executing at our end as a team. So far, the entire thing that we did for Climatic, it was not the result of, a couple of us sitting together. It was a lot of work on framework level. Where is cost? I think it's running. So, a lot of work on the framework level. We did a lot of work on with the team members, JPAC members put regression excels, we customized the code and so on. Okay. So now as phase 2 or 2.1 and so on, there are few members who will be moving from JPAC who worked on CTAF into code handling along with Ramu. So Ramu, I'm going to show you that code and hand that code over to you and whoever wants to work from a JPAC team on it, and we can basically look at that code. Okay. Code changes, I will coordinate from my end. Whatever we can do. The execution regressions, so there's a lot of activities everyone can do, and I'm trying to see who wants to do which part of it. Ramu, you want to I'll mute you. Which one, Ramu? Can you raise your hand? Maybe this one. There were 2 or 3
Okay.
Hi, Ramu.
Okay, hi team. So I just wanted to add on to what Karthik was mentioning. So I've been attending these client stand-up calls every day, and one particular aspect we are looking for is, running on our regression suite on a daily basis. I mean, clearly, like, a lot of you have put in so much effort in developing this framework, and the client is also equally interested in seeing this being run every day, and so that we can report any new issues or any regression bugs that come up. And like, for example, today one of the developers was mentioning, like, it was in this very specific module that he was developing, and he saw this 500 internal error, and immediately he raised this point in the call saying that I have found this 500 internal error. Why hasn't this come up from the QA team? And I think we can overcome this, but if we can run our suite every day, of course we can optimize it and then make it more better. But the idea is, if we keep doing this every day, even before any developer points it out, we can, project to the client saying that, no, I have found the bug, I have done this on a repeated basis, and I've come up with the bugs much earlier than anyone else. So that is the idea going forward.
Sure, absolutely, Ramu. And this is one which is definitely the starting point for anyone working on CTAF. So if you are interested in CTAF, to work on, so that is very important. JPAC members interested, it is the new one, interested to work on CTAF, you should participate in this act. So what is it that we are saying, Ramu, is we need to do daily regression executions and help to proactively identify issues like internal errors, whatever be it, and the test should be running. And if there are issues that we can identify on a regression Excel or AnyAUT, AnyAUT, we can fix. Else, if there are AUT or data,
yes, whether it's a functional issue or a code related issue.
Yeah, reproduce and create a defect. Yes.
And in fact, we have received an immediate request, Karthik, because there is a deployment going on Wednesday. So the client is looking for an immediate regression run across the 3 customers, ICM as well as Skip.
Okay. So we want members to be executing. Now, so what we can do, all of this is in this folder team called Kinematic CTAF phase 2. I'm going to put this link here so members can start looking into this. And out here team, the most important are the regression Excels. Okay. So these are the Excels that you should be running at your end if you can. And any issues or things, we will fix it and re-upload them here. Correct, Ram? So that way we can make. And in this, there is also the runner team. So please take this runner. This will have the entire thing just like AnyAUT. You can unpackage and start execution. Once you unpackage it, you'll see it like this. The whole thing, regression Excel should also be here. You have old Excels, take the new Excels from the Google. Now, who wants to start executions at your end? Let me know. I can show you how we can get started. And make sure that your system does not sleep. If it is sleeping, then, or even if your display is going off, the test will not run. So it should not get logged, or the display should not get turned off, or it should not sleep. And ideally, just run it towards your night times. Execution is not the only important one, but also looking at what is happening there. Now, primarily, that's the activity. Team, I need to know who wants to work on it. I may not be approaching you all individually and asking. So whoever volunteers for it, we're going to start putting you into that. So there are primarily only 2 teams, everyone. So while there are 3 teams here, I'm just combine them into 2 groups. Manual, Excel creation, execution, debugging, modifications. Try by executing a few. This, try by executing CTAF tests. Okay. Then we have coding CI/CD. So I don't have to divide them separately. Actually, you know what? Let's keep it that way. You'll be able to go and navigate it. So that was a simple data-driven framework that I was showing, and a little here I deviate a couple of things. And who else? Team, can you please let me know, because this will go on actively. I've got a few names, and I also want you to. So what I will do is, whoever is interested, stay back with me after I finish this session. I will do another smaller session with you on CTAF. And Ram, if it's too late, you can log off maybe tomorrow. At least I'll start guiding you on how to execute. Meanwhile, can you all download the regression, the framework, please, from here? I'm going to put it into the chat. So that's done. Ramu, anything else from your side?
Nothing, Karthik. So we just need to identify the correct regression suits, right, for case 1 and case 2, so that we can trigger them.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
So, team, I'll take you back to that AnyAUT run quickly just to show you the result for the simple data-driven framework. Okay. So, I'll come back to CTAF in about 10-15 minutes, everyone, and maybe we'll continue with exact tasks that we can allocate to you all. Let's look at the results that came up. Oopsie, not test output. me this. No errors, team. So that's good. If you notice, there's only one test case, but if you keep scrolling down, you'll see that it is open browser, it's done certain activities. Here we're typing laptops. Actually, now, can anyone tell me why does it say number 4 and number 4 typing laptops? Is that a defect? Is that a defect? See, I see type laptops here and I see type laptops. What is it that we are typing? Ice creams. If I'm typing ice creams, why does it say laptops? Now tell me, team, what defect is it? There are only 3 chances of a defect, okay? Our automation framework called AnyAUT failed. Our application under test that failed, or the test data that we gave in the Excel sheet or some information. What is the problem? Can I get an answer from everyone in the chat?
Is it the step description, Karthik? We have pasted the same description.
Yeah. So primarily, and this is where we have to be careful, and also spell errors. So let us say if there's any global replacement, be careful with the spell errors as well. So our description here for the step exactly says type laptops for all. So if it says type laptop, then it will print that. So you want to put that correct. So this is type ice creams. Because these are hard coded. What was the other? Type random text. Okay, so these are the first 3. Now, what about the last one? What should I say for the last test case that we just created, everyone? It's a type search term because it is parameterized. I'm not saying open Chrome. I'm not saying go to Costco.com. I'm saying go to AUT because tomorrow it could be 100.costco.com or some domain pointing to it. So wherever it is hard coded, you can hard code that statement. Otherwise, keep it general. All right. So see, this is where our details have to go as to how we see things, how we analyze. This skill is a 110% essential skill for everyone in IT. It is a 1000% essential skill for someone in software testing. If you cannot have attention and eye for detail, you have to start building that team. Okay. So now your data-driven framework was take this and put it into a certain thing. Now comes the another framework team. This is a GDF. Let me take this call team. Give me a second, please. I'm sorry, team. So, and also, team, I'm back. But just as a note, team, the training started very easy for you all, at least the ones who are attending AnyAUT certified. But now it's going to get more complex. Okay, so we'll talk about it. Now comes the other thing, team, another kind of a framework. Okay, I have a test case. Now, a test case, it required me to log in. It required me to check balance. It required me to add, transfer account. And it required me to make a transfer and log out. Now, these are my steps, everyone. So login will have a bunch of steps. Check balance will have a bunch of steps. Now, what is this? Add transfer account will have a few bunch of steps. Correct, everyone? Are you all with me? We think of it like a banking application. Now about transfer, yes, you'll have to click transfer, you'll have to type there, so many steps, each line representing a step. Log out, couple of more steps. Now, transfer functionality typically may have about 30 steps. Fair enough? That's one test case. Now I have a second test case that says I want to just add a transferee account. So add a friend to my account. So what will I do? I'm again going to log in. I'm again going to check balance. I'm going to add a transferee account and then log out. So now I have 25 steps in this, 30 steps in this. There's a third test case. Let's see. There's a third test case, and there are n test cases like this. So an application may have hundreds of test cases, and each may have some steps which are very logically put together. So I have to keep on writing this. Just imagine all the steps are repeating over and over and over again. Is there a better way to handle this? And that is where we come up with, let us combine some of these as business keywords. In the sense, I know to search, what do we do? I have to perform all the steps, correct? So I have to open my browser, click on search field, type search term, and then click on search icon. So these are common steps, right? And this can repeat for anything. For example, all I will do is I'll copy the steps. Are you with me? And I go to built-in keywords. So what I'm saying is all the login steps will be listed here for me. Whenever I want to log in, I will call this. All the check balance, sorry, my sheet is full. All the check balance will be in one reusable place. Whatever I want, I will send in that. So the simplest implementation is if I go to user defined keywords sheet. Okay? I will explain the difference between UDKs and built-in keywords. But let me go to UDK and copy whatever I got from that as is. And I'm trying to make sure they're all matching. They don't seem to be matching. Keyword. This okay. Only the built-in keyword won't be there. I'll delete this. And in the tasks that are there on CTAB, you don't need to go through all this process also until you get into writing and so on. As of now, you just want to execute. So now this is my user-defined keyword. Okay. Now, user-defined keyword is basically saying that my underscore search, and each step of it can have whatever it wants. And all the details that I gave for that step, like open browser, navigate browser, do this, do that, is now out here, team, as one UDK. So what I can do is I can create a new test case and I'll say this is using test data items underscore data driven framework, this underscore keyword driven. If I change the data here, should I also change the data here, team? Of course, you have to change it wherever it comes without exceptions, team. So make sure that those things are correctly reflected. See? Now, module ID, this, I have one more coming in. The one more that's coming in is going to be basically going to be 3 steps. Write it. Once I write it, it will be easy for you to copy and do it from there. What's the name of the test case? That's important. ADF, let's take that and put it here. Now, this specific one will have only 3 steps. Let me show you how. This will be my step 1, UDK search. What was that name that I gave? User defined keyword my underscore search. So here I will say this is a UDK and the name is my underscore search. Everything else is irrelevant for it because whatever it requires, it will take it from those specific steps. So the way it works is when it sees that, oh, there is a UDK called my underscore search, it will directly go to this sheet, execute these steps, and then come back here. Okay? And then goes to built-in keywords, script browser, and so on. So now all of this step is so easily changed into one out here, one steps. So when you write test cases, you can create a lot of these reusable components and put them in there. Now, the only difference here is I have research term is there. Now I can say this I want to run, let us say PD02 and PD03. You can choose what you want to run on what sets of data. So this on 2 different browsers, or sorry, data, this on 2 different sets of data. And my test data set is out here. Laptops, ice cream, speaker. This is what I'm searching. Clear? So when it comes to framework, primarily what happens is you have a data-driven framework. So you can do data 1, data 2, and so on. So your test scenarios, whatever test you have, you can repeat them. That's good. Now my test itself has steps, right? So we will create keywords. So I'll say keyword 1, keyword 2, and so on. And these can go as input. These are nothing but bunch of reusable steps. The only other sheet that we're using nicely in this spreadsheet is called the element identification. Okay. Instead of hard coding my elements here, saying one time use and saying XPath is so and so, I will put it into element ID sheet. So that is also parameterized. So my test is parameterized by 3 things. My changing set of test data, my changing set of user-defined keywords, and how my elements are identified in different pages. Those are the 3 inbuilt frameworks. This is called a data-driven framework. This is a keyword-driven framework where we're using user-defined keyword. And this primarily is nothing but your page object model, page factory. All of them are put into this for us. Now see, all I have to do is go here. Okay, this data, I'm saying run it on two different. And this is using a keyword. It is as simple as that for us. The heart of this entire Excel sheet is the test steps because it's got the detail. Okay? And all that our framework does is goes line by line, row by row, and says, okay, what do I need to do? Built-in keyword, open browser. What is that code that open browser does? All that is there in our framework source file. Okay, what is the code that type text does, and so on. Then element, see these three columns basically says, hey, you can use it one time if you don't think you want to keep reusing or you don't see need, or put them all in the sheet. Just give them a name, say how you're identifying it, tell the details. Keep on adding here instead of hard coding it here. Okay. Then the test data. Either you say that I want to put it as a reusable and say the name of it, or put the actual value. That's fine. And see, you can nicely say at the rate in front for element ID. Maybe you want to use, you can use, hash v browser for all of it. So what I do, team, when I want to make universal changes, I will do like Control H, which is find and replace, v browser. Let us change it with hash v browser. Why am I changing it? Whenever I see that it starts with a hash, at least visually I and my team can know that, oh, it is a test data. And I'll say replace all. It's made 4 replacement, but that's done only on this sheet. You have to make sure that you go to test data and also replace it. It's only in one place. I'll just change it. Okay. Now, all this data that you have can be stored centrally. All the element IDs can be stored centrally. All your user-defined keywords can be stored centrally. Built-in keywords is the only one where we've already written the code, what we have. Your test steps, test cases can keep getting built from. Understood, everyone, how we are building this? So you have your data that can come, you have your keywords that can come, you have your elements that can come. The exact same thing, you're more than welcome to do it on a web UI. So you can start putting them in reusable components. Okay? Basic setup is one, but reusable component says, let's first add all the elements. Which page, what is the name? Enter some details for it. Done. It is created and it will stay there for a while, okay, in that page. So in fact, this is broken down into 2 things, team. First, keep on creating different pages. And for each page, keep adding. Once the page is created, you will say, okay, dashboard page or login page. What do I need? Then add those elements. The same test data. So I can say that, I want to create different sets of test data like we did in the columns here. Copied the column and pasted, and all I changed is this. And it's okay. You can change this to Firefox too. Is it running? It's to Firefox as well, just to see what's happening. And let's save this as 5. And let's again check what is it that we're running. So first test case on 2 sets and second test case on 2 sets. This is using only data driven. This is using data driven keyword and also element identification. So it's pretty much hybrid frameworks that they do. Okay, one more launch. Let it run. See how many times I'm launching? Even to show you that is the same amount of time you would need at your end. Now, all that you're seeing, the concept is going to be the same in terms of any automation tool or framework you will find. Where do Java developers come into play? you can help me to build that next version of this application. Okay, and let me see which. Let's see. Already one workspace. Let me see. AnyAUT is here. I don't think there's anything. Both of these are the latest one. Eclipse. Which one did I open? Still trying. Give me a second. AnyAUT Excel source. I don't know if it is there. Okay, let's see. Now, there are a lot of things in terms of improvement that I need to do, team, on the framework. Ramu and I also have been speaking what climatic means. Now, just to give you that brief idea, climatic as a project requires someone working full time, apart from all of us trying to contribute into it. So there are a lot of tasks that between Ramu and I will try and fine tune and distribute to all of us. Now, this is our AnyAUT source. Can I do a source code walkthrough also after this? Is CTAF. This one is Did you see the execution on Firefox, anyone? I was not paying too much keen focus or attention to it. But it's doing one at a time right now. One test case. Let that finish. Let's go to the reports meanwhile. There's nothing stopping us from opening the results team and seeing what's happening. So the report is coming through while the execution is going on. So open browser pass. So I think it opened Firefox also here. See, test data V browser. Something went wrong here. Because it's supposed to say that. But then how did it open? Even here it's saying V browser. Test data. This is a defect. You need to change this. It should say the value, not the name of the variable. Was it running on Firefox team? That was the question. Oh, I don't think I changed that in the Excel. Did I? No, I did. See? And browser. Oh, problem. User defined keywords here is hash v browser. That is why it will fail. Let's take it back to v browser as it was, because it seems to be causing some issue overall. So back to hash. Let's see. Hash v browser, and let's delete this. Replace all here. Okay. And test data. Let's change this as well. Don't want an issue there. Save as also 6. Let's wait for seconds. It's a big thing in Facebook. Okay, so that's running. I'm gonna re-execute it, team. So it's going on in the background, and we can go do a code walk. Right? It's always good to make sure your tests have getting you what you want. So when you give an input Excel, you have a specific expectation behind it. Okay, it's gonna do this, it's gonna do that. Keep your eyes, team, because wait for the entire test, and sometimes there'll be false positives, and you'll assume that, oh, everything is good, while it may not be actually. So, and in our framework, if the default browser, it does not get the data, it takes Chrome as the default browser. So if it did not find Firefox or Safari, I think it's trying to do that. Now that's going to go in the backend. So team, have you all downloaded the CTAF version 1.04 onto your machines and unzipped it? So there are basically a few questions that you have to answer now for us to move forward. Team, have you done this? And then I need you to run the demo.xls on it, everyone. Once you do that, you should be able to get into the next phase of it. Then larger regression excels should be done overnight on our machines. And these are critical, team. Anything that you're doing on the project, I would want you to participate. Who wants to be the presenter and show me what you have done on downloading and executing this demo.xls, please? And I want the names of the members who want to work on the development as well. So can you all please, how do you ping me? I want a group of team who are active, everyone. We need to sit down together and make changes. So I will assign tasks. I expect you to deliver them, especially on the coding part. Manual, it'll be very easy for you to get started. But coding CI/CD, please expect tasks to come from my guys. Questions? I've got a few names earlier. Should I create a small CTAF private group? And only if you're going to work on this manual activities on CTAF, please join in. Otherwise, don't join. Okay. Let me create that quickly. What else? And I'll create one more for developers. Only if you're active, you participate. Otherwise, no. Oh, I didn't pick up. I didn't see that execution team. We'll look into the execution later. Okay. So let me create the Skype groups quickly. Here or message. Want to share it right away. Any questions, suggestions, anyone? Meanwhile, I'll send you that list to Skype group team. I want specific names of people who want to nicely work with me, manual and coding seat. Both Ramu and I will be there in that. New chat group, C manual. Ramu, I sent you a group link for manual.
Okay.
I'll also make you the organizer. Can you put it in the group chat for all? Yeah. Internal errors, Manasa, are the ones where like 404 page not found or 500 internal server error. So the page itself is not loading. That becomes the issue. CTAF F. And team, I know a few of you are there from CTAF phase 1, phase 2. Can I have someone ping me offline on Skype? Just wanted to let you know that we've finalized on the new certifications, AnyAUT certified tester, developer, and the training participation. So I need the details for it. For all of you who've been working on it, at least the old batches, and I want to get them released in the next 2-3 days. For the new joiners, we will go through slowly. Okay, so Ramu, I made you present organizer.
So, Karthik, could you come back? I couldn't hear you.
So there is that group link, Ramu, Skype group, manual team dev team.
Okay.
I added you. So can you send those 2 links here? Actually, I'll do it. I only want specific members who are active into it joining. CTAF. Invite more people. Link this group. File link. Copy to clipboard. That manual team. Please join only the ones you're interested in team. And you can join both if you are planning to participate in both of them as well. Once you're ready, I will do that brief code walkthrough, at least for the dev team. And then let me know if there are any other questions, Ramu, from your end. We have some deadlines also you mentioned.
Yes.
So I will run a few. I will have the manual testers also do the execution for you. And we'll complete this.
And Karthik, so analyzing the results will it be part of the manual efforts as well?
Sure. So when the team is executing, they will also, with our guidance, try and go and see what happened to that report. Where did it fail? Okay. So the easiest way is, instead of going through everything in one bulk move, let's filter this. You can go into some of these scenarios and see this. The problem with these are very simple. For example, look at this test case. I think it's going from one test case to the other. So it's quitting the browser here, maybe, and hopefully it starts with the open browser. So this is good. So here there's something that's going wrong. Why would it go wrong in this screen? Is it a screenshot and this email is taken? So this could be. Now what is that error then? If it says this email is taken, team, we're trying to create an account, I believe. What is the name of this? New registration test page validation. Why would it happen, everyone? It's already existing, guys. It's your test data issue. Test data is not correct. So when we create a test data, the biggest challenge that we face is in the execution. Where am I showing? So if I go to the test data here, whatever I'm trying to feed into that specific scenario is that, what is that name? If I can, it is MA206. So this is the name, email. Now, when we're creating, we have to change these, and some of these ones that we kept in red specifically are the ones that we want to relook at, like dates, like insurance claim numbers, and so on. A few things that have to be changed based on what we want to. That is a test data preparation that we need to do a little bit. So the round one, at least this execution has to happen. Round two, now we can figure out why it's going wrong. Is it a genuine error or not? Now let us say worst case, we are not able to re-execute that complete module again. For example, it's taking too long. At least I can go through this regression and say, that's fine, I agree, this is not a defect. So we can let it go because we know we will fix the test data for the next run. So each one, primarily, we're trying to look into why is it failing, where is it failing. So everything after that predominantly may fail because we could not find that specific user. If the user is taken, there's nothing else we were able to do. So then it's a ripple effect. All this started failing. Now, for example, this. It says close Symfony toolbar. So this is one thing that keeps coming up and we are unable to close it. And why is there an error to close it? See, in here, it does not give me a description of the error. Right, close toolbar. Where else did I use this close toolbar? So that is where we can do a little bit more. Let's go here. And left should be in the element ID sheet here. So close toolbar is the element that we use. Now let's see where all we using this. Only one place. That's all we're doing here. So I don't even know if that is the correct element identification for it. Toolbar is only one or two places here. Let's go to UD keys. Maybe it could be here. Okay. the left, reusable element, defects. This is missing here. Close Symfony toolbar, click button, reusable element. It's saying close toolbar, reusable element, close toolbar. Okay, that's fine. That's all we need. Now, why didn't it close? So primarily, I need to go in, maybe log in to that application itself, and relook into that once. By getting team. So we have to do a little bit of debugging into each of this. So yeah. Might also be, I believe. And why did we close the Symfony tool? Again, something we can look at. It's only happening one time. And here, it's a, I don't think there's any. You created one new one, no?
Yes, got it. AnyAUT underscore Excel. I think yeah, this also.
So here we are. It's gone also. I hit an escape key that went away. Come back. So this is tricky, this Symfony toolbar. The only thing is I have to close this. So right click and let's inspect and see. And the one more additional thing on a coding level, and I need a team's help in this, I'm going to work with, is mandatory error or not. Mandatory step or critical step or not. If it's not a critical step, we will just say that it is. Right click again, inspect. It's got this whole path to it. ID is this. Title is close space toolbar. What did we give here? Which is correct. But what if there are more? Will this ID change? I don't think so. So instead of destroying the one I have, what I typically do is close toolbar is this. I'll copy this and just the element. Okay. Insert copy cells and I'll say close toolbar 2. And here I'm going to use an ID. And the ID that I got is here. It's changing. So can we say contains team? ID is XPath and something like /a brackets contains ID. So it could be a simple one like this, team, where it is an element issue, or it could be something more complicated for us. So that is something we need to figure it out. Contains blah, blah, blah. Is this correct, team? What I wrote? I know team be taking long, so join those Skype groups. I'll guide you on that. So this is Control C, and like this. Is this? Close toolbar. Are you kidding me? There is close toolbar 2. It's close toolbar, close toolbar. And there's one more close toolbar. Why there are so many close toolbars? It should not be so many teams. I don't know what this is, so I'll just change this. Close. It was there on the top. Close toolbar 2. Xbar contains IDs, so and so. So now, having made this change, all I'm trying to do is maybe replicate that only. So here we have an issue with test case 6. Test case 6 has got just a bunch of few things in here. So 5, 6 claim search policy. So I just go here. This one is a bad. Put them all into. How do I take a cell and put it all the way across?
Just double click on the cell.
Sorry?
Just double click. So
Or it
whatever
goes
is
all the
yeah.
end plus. So this, I will double click no. And we look at test case 6 plain search policy type. Is this the one? Yeah. So I'm just going to take that and I'll run this.
What is the toolbar it's trying to click, Karthik? I'm not able to see that in the screen in the application.
Oh, okay. So here, this is the one. Closing this bottom widget window that you see. You see this?
Yeah. Okay.
The one that comes, we try to close this. Now I'm gonna say yes to that. I did say yes to this, and that's it. So just got one test case. Now if I go to my so we're just gonna run one scenario. Let's see how quickly it can do that for us. So in the X Google Drive and everything that I shared, team, you have everything except for the source code. 6 seconds. The time that it takes to actually prepare this Excel is very interesting, everyone. And as we confirm and correct each one, we can look at what's happening. Now, I just used a different type of identification, not necessarily that it will solve it, but at least we will know what is happening in that. And visually, let us see if it is trying to or able to click on it. So the challenge is that this page keeps loading internally. Looks like it clicked on it. Not sure it was free. So this dash components that load one after the other, one after. Hence, we have to add the hard wait. Or what we can do is put a wait statement for each of them coming. So if it failed or not on that step, we don't know. At least it will continue to execute for us. It's only going to do it on one. So let's wait for it to finish. Should be almost done. All of this are the typical activities that we will, get to be working on, on project teams. A lot of view, a lot of functionalities for platforms. There's so much that the way I know that the execution is completed is primarily if I go to results, and there will be this report that will come up, run result. That will get created only towards the end. It does not show me an issue right now. Let's see. Close Symfony toolbar seems to have managed. Oh, but it's taken title close toolbar. I don't even know why it is taken that. And see, that is where this Excel has to be a lot of fine tuning. It's one Excel, but now it's working. Now it didn't create an issue with the old one. Title is close to. What happened to the one we gave? I don't know.
But you get both, right? You get both the EADs, right?
No. I think I made a mistake, maybe. It worked though, I'm just saying. And so what did we give? Test data. Or element type. So close toolbar, and we have close toolbar too. So it looks like in test steps, did I change it? What? It's easy to also make mistakes in this. It's saying close toolbar. It's still pointing to 1, and that's the problem. So maybe we can try 2 later and see what happens. Anywhere else? There's one more here, close toolbar. And this we also have to see which test case is it. So this is test case 2. On a few test cases, I believe it is there, not but. Oh, now I can see a lot. No. Control H, close toolbar. Replace all. Put something nasty for us. The point is, team, and that is why we need to use and optimize using UDKs. If even such a step, a few things that you want, if you put it into UDKs, it is coming 4 times. It is much more optimized that way. So that's with the new one. But what I'm trying to say, Ramu, is even with the old one, in this execution, it worked. So we're not sure why it could have. Okay.
Yeah.
But we have to keep on going back to this report and trying to analyze them. And see, you'll have a bunch of past and then suddenly you'll see something is failing. So why is it failing? Open browser, Chrome, navigate, wait, close toolbar, click on expand button, first row. See in here, when we searched for this owner or whatever, we got nothing. When we get nothing, how will I click on this first row? And how will I be able to expand and so on? So maybe the content is not there for that usage.
And I think if we can implement that critical step, it will make a huge difference, both in terms of time as well as execution.
So now let us look at this story here that we have. So here's the core team, CTAF and AnyAUT Excel. Okay. Now this is an AnyAUT Excel 1.1.jar, but let's see the source. I will know. So what we are trying to do here is yeah. So this is the latest one only team. Excel driven test automation framework, demo for up to 500 test steps. Okay. Now in here, all we want to do is in this sheet, if I write that my test steps or test a step team, which one do I for a step? Element ID, test data, output, result, time taken, all this is there, right? This column L that is there, if I say this is critical, the only thing that you will put in here is a yes or a no. Once I put the critical as a yes or a no, then accordingly the steps have to run. Now, in the sense that opening a browser is a critical step, and I know that it requires us a minimum for the step to work. If it is not critical, there is no point. If that step fails, then we should not have any more execution. So this is a critical step. Navigate browser is a critical step. Click element, critical. Type text, critical. This whatever I'm doing, not critical, and the other one also I'll say is not critical. Okay. Now if I want to run just my test case one as is, and this is, I'll say verify text. Something I'm doing in nonsense for now. One time use XPath / star ID ID equals to single quotes chunk. Now this is my XPath that I've given. So for those of your team who do not know XPath and all that, you'll have to learn through our other sessions. But let's assume that you know it and we're putting the values. If you don't know, just right click, inspect element, and get it for now. See, this verify text will fail because I'm also saying that it's so and so. I'm expecting a text to be Karthik, a name to come out. Right? Now, notice what will happen, team. The scenario, remember this, so that it is easy for us to think of it. Immediate change critical step. If a step is critical and fails, quit browser and close. If a step is not critical and fails, then move on to the next step. That is the functionality that we need to implement. So column L has been added with it. Now I have to replicate this in our framework. How do I do that? So here's our framework team. And the framework is broken down into few components. So very briefly, I'm going to tell this. UI code is the main launcher. Then comes prepare, run, and execute. Everything else is in between. Now, this is during execution of efficiency. During execution, if there is a defect, so here is where we'll have to change. We have to break out of it. Execute keywords here. Team, the whole logic about the step being pass or fail is here. So any coders willing to join me tomorrow, I'll get this done with you. Sit down and we can work on this. I'll walk you through this entire code. What is happening here? How we're starting with the flow, how we're doing the logging, and that's our before test item. And actual test, we are going through that Excel sheet, and this is only going to do it up to 500 steps, team. And basically what it's doing, executing each one, be getting this data, test steps will be output column. So that output column will have so that is there in which column? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So output is in column 9. So where did I not output? What did I want to call that? So I'm only going to do a basic code change right now just to show you. Here are these defined. Just seeing all of the names here. Keyword element type. Yeah, defined here. See, this data, comma, critical. Step. Okay. So if I write this as a critical step in here, then that data is coming from column 9 into 30. That's what we counted. And that will go to critical step. It's like it'll just have a yes, no. Now out here, so we're logging saying what we are executing and so on. I'm going to try this code, executing the keyword. If it's all pass, then good. Else, if it is a fail, then we'll say whatever it failed and so on. And here we're coming out. So here is where if critical breakout after quit browser. And here is another one thing. See, it says it's basically a failure. It show us. Let it show. Maybe we'll show it as a warning. I'm just thinking. And even here, if critical breakout. So first part is where I know some verification failed, something else failed here, then we don't know what it is. So I'll say this is what it is. Then what should I put in the output? Nothing. So this code, let's change tomorrow team. Let's even this out, clean this up. All those case statements, the 110 keywords are out here, just the switch case statement. The actual keywords and what they do are here. For example, click element, what it does, verify text, verify title, all of these are built in. So a lot of code that we built in to get to this level of framework achievement. But at least whatever we can, we should be able to see here. Okay, that's a long one session. Sorry, everyone. Are you with me still? All right, so we have Skype groups created. I want you to all participate in the Skype groups. For the manual testers, I want you to start giving me inputs on execution section. Automation developers, please participate in the code fine tuning. Tomorrow we'll do that. Questions, anyone?
Karthik, so by and large, most the steps will depend on the previous step, right? So can we say it will be like 80-20 ratio, critical, non-critical?
Could be. In this case, most look critical because of the size. It's a small one, but let us say we go to a bigger one here. This has got 37 steps, correct?
Yeah.
So in this 37 steps, I will start with, that login is there. So yeah, I'll say this is critical. Wait for page to load, not critical. Login, critical. So we have to actually kind of go through a little and say which is critical, which is not. But generally, you can say, and say, for example, I don't know why Fit browser is here. If Fit browser is here, how will it continue with the remaining? I didn't know. Maybe it was, I don't know. So, but in general, we have to look at how we can make them as critical or not. We'll test it on a smaller portion, then we'll come to this.
Yeah.
The idea is it won't wait for too long to say that, oh, so if the browser didn't open, it'll get out. If you could not log in, it'll get out. It'll not do the remaining part of it. So most of the steps beyond that will be non-critical. At least a few, not necessarily.
Okay.
So in this case, type the change password, type the confirm password. Most of this could be critical.
Right. So
Sometimes,
even if you have 10 critical steps, if it fails in the first critical step, will come out.
that is the problem. Now, sometimes what happens, so one failed, but there are another 10 fields that I need to verify. Then we will say, okay, you know what, it's not so critical. It's okay to continue also. Especially field level verifications, let's assume, where we have to go to a form and check a bunch of 20 fields on. Then we will say each step is not necessarily mandatory. It's not critical. Let it happen. If it is blocking me from going to the next page or doing an action beyond, then it becomes critical.
Okay.
Are we in similar understanding, Ramu?
Yes, Karthik, yes. But as you said, we need to go, a specific test case wise and then take a call.
We'll take a few samples, then it will be easy.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I think we'll be able to figure that out tomorrow.
Right.
Because the columns are in place for us. All I need to do is the logic. But see, make sure it doesn't break something else. And we need to test it. Okay, it's working. What synchronization? Siri? Why do we have to just wait a step description in many places? The reason is the way this application behaves. That's the primary reason. Okay? because once I logged into that application, there are components within it which are still loading up in sense. But at the same time, I believe a bunch of wait commands can be deleted, and we can put more of a, after the element is present, then we can do or something like that. So it will be faster. That's also another thing. Okay, team, Ramu, everyone. I'll see you tomorrow. Any other questions? Anyone want to raise your hands?
Karthik, so regarding the regression that we need to trigger.
Yes. So, do you want to start the trigger at your end, Ramu?
Yeah, sure.
Shall I show?
Yeah,
We can do 4, and
yeah.
then you can leave your system. I will do again in my end tonight.
Yes, Karthik. Yeah.
Okay. And
Yeah.
US members or any of the participants, please let us know when you can. I'll make you present when we're ready.
Can you see my screen, Karthik?
Yes.
Okay, so let's just make phase 2 master.
So only few modules are selected. We can this is
Yeah, so total 61. I have enabled everything.
okay.
And the application is doing this IA cycle.
Yeah.
Okay.
Test cases.
It looks good. I think around 453. And test steps, yeah, 6,464.
Okay. So that's our one Excel, correct? Now,
Yes.
shall we run this as 2 different parts, make it into 2 halves, phase 2 itself? Or do you
Yeah.
want to, yeah. So let's
Uh,
do another copy of it. Okay, great. So
yeah.
first we'll say part 1 or 1. The second has to, no, don't change the original, please.
Okay. Okay.
Sorry, I was on mute. So now let's go to part 1 and we'll select few modules in part 1. The remaining in part 2. Not, yeah, part 1. So how many modules do we have? Overall about
61, I believe. Yeah, 61.
okay, so we'll break it at 30. So let's
Okay.
do up to 30. Go up, please. Yeah, so from 30, so from 29, shall we put a different one from 28 onwards? System
Yeah.
parameter there, no?
Okay.
So these just mark them as no here and we'll put them as yes there.
8. Okay. Okay. So part 1 is still
Size. This is part 2 actually, or part 1, yes, correct.
a part 1 cut. Yeah.
Let's go to part 2, do the other. And we can run both of this in parallel.
Okay. So starting from row 28 till 62, it's yes.
That's part 2, correct?
Yeah.
So shall we execute both of them parallelly? Let it happen. Maybe
Okay.
it'll take 4 hours instead of 7 hours, 5 hours. Maybe both will be done. You can actually divide part 2 also into 2 parts if you want. Or that's
Yeah.
fine.
Should I divide it or shall I go?
I think it's okay. 2 parts for now is fine. Let's go to the framework and launch 2 of these. So can 1 second, don't start yet. Just keep it open. 6 seconds is fine. Depends on your browser timeout if it's lower there for you. Check that. Let's run name now. Say I see phase 2 part 1, please. No.
Shall I start it?
No. Let's run name on the top.
Just, oh, sorry. Okay.
Underscore phase 2 part 1.
Okay.
That way we and let's launch one more, please. And I'll click both of them simultaneously usually.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we can launch both of them now. So let's go to our results folder. Meanwhile, it will create those 2 subfolders for us and start putting things into. So this will take some time. So we will not open this Excel while it's getting updated. Let's go back to the results page. I think it should not actually take too long. It'll get the process started now. So if you don't let your computer sleep and all that, I think it will be fine for us. In the morning, we'll have the results. At least one version. Can you also put the same Excels for us in the Skype groups, manual and dev, CTAB? We'll have members put it there. And what is there? And we also have to run these on different other providers.
Yes. Yeah. Phase 1 as well.
So phase 1, for example, this SA Chrome. So let's do those runs also. Why not? So let's open. Sorry.
Okay. Probably I can check later. But why is this? Okay. Still not run.
So in your regression Excels folder,
It's stuck. I think. Yeah. Okay.
oh, it's stuck, no problem.
Yeah.
So the other 2 will be career and so on. I put them in the Google Drive also. The team can take it from there and do execution from there. You don't need to change any test data from your NFL team. Just run it on as is. We will then look at some data. Right?
But does it take this long, Karthik, to launch the browser?
So what is primarily happening as a step 1 is to prepare the test. So it goes through every sheet, every row, and prepares a small one.
Okay.
Execution will be fast. Preparation, it has to navigate through that. So it takes usually a minute or so. Earlier, it used to take us 3-4 minutes. We could do a little bit more optimization.
But I think one more process should also come up.
Yes, correct. That's the second one for us.
Maybe in the morning I'll try to trigger based on Karthik. Just if you could let me know the correct sheet, yeah, I can do it. Yeah.
It's there in a Google Drive, Ram.
Okay.
In that, there's a regression Excel's folder. It's there in that. Right now, I think your machine will be fully occupied with these two test runs.
Yeah. And how many lines of code did you write for this? I think in your
Our framework itself.
yes.
I think I would say maybe about not more than 10,000 lines. So, for example, UI code has about 500. Then prepare run will have solid. This is 500, so that's 1,000. Execute test. This one has about 1,000, 2,000. Utilities has 250. 500. Low-level keywords, which is the biggest one, has about 1,000. So about 3,000, 4,000 in total. I would say about 4,000 lines of code.
Lot of effort.
At least a bunch of those lines of code are primarily with our keyword calls. If user clicks what we do and all those things.
I guess some 404 error. The other
Did you see that? I didn't notice it.
yeah, I think it was trying to log in as
Actually go
admin.
to screenshots right away. Oh, it's stuck, is it? Yes.
I think no.
Yes.
Yes, still stuck.
Go to the results.
It's stuck.
Oh, it's stuck, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
What is the RAM capacity?
I think maybe 2 GB RAM.
I'll tell mine. Windows Explorer, this properties. So my computer desktop is a good version. I bought it about 3 years back. It's a full-fledged. It's i7, 3.6 gigahertz, 16 GB.
Oh.
So that's a good one. This laptop may be much more. Let's see this laptop also. So this PC properties. Oh, this is an i7, 1.8 gigahertz, 8 GB.
Yeah.
So processor is 1.8 gigahertz and half the RAM. 8 GB also is fine. But I would think at least 8 GB RAM is essential.
8 GB RAM.
I think so.
Yeah.
Ramu, are you able to connect to Linux?
Credentials, my credentials are not working, Karthik. So Krishmita is suggesting to use the existing available.
If it's there, we could also trigger these runs there.
Oh, okay.
In Linux, after 2 or 3, I think 4, it becomes unresponsive. 4 parallel runs, I'm saying.
Okay.
So how do we parallel run them? So there are a lot of ways to do parallel runs. What happened? UI is stuck, or we don't know what's happening on the machine, is it?
I'm not sure. Nothing is entering and it's not closing also.
Okay.
Other applications also seems to be stuck.
you put those files, right, in Skype?
Yes, but now it's reopened. So I think it was trying to log in, it was not able to do that. So it completed the wait seconds and then closed it.
How come I didn't get those files from the ones you put? Oh, it was Skype issue.
Yeah. But
Let me do the same at my end and rerun.
okay. But is it okay if we keep navigating to other screens, Karthik, when the execution is on? It won't in any way affect
Yes.
the.
No, it won't. The only thing I don't do is minimize.
Okay.
And very erroneously, sometimes I'm typing something, a click, and it's going to the active display out here. Sometimes. So typically what we will try and do is avoid it. To run, do anything on at that time. Especially if it's a live test that's being executed.
I think I was trying to like put the Excel in the Skype group, right? So that's why it got hung.
I think it was hung before that only. Then
Oh.
like this. So phase 2, I'm going to try to do the same. So I'm also going to run this at my end.
Yeah, thanks.
If anyone else is executing it, let us know. Okay, thanks guys. I know it's too long, 2 hours, so appreciate it. We'll see you all back and team play around with it. It's a lot of fun with what you're seeing there. So now I see.
And thanks for that analysis demo, Karthik. I think that is the most vital part. You know, we can run 24 hours, but ultimately we have to report the correct status.
Of the execution you're saying?
Yes, yes.
Right. So in this folder, I'm just trying to think which are the correct ones. Sure. If I become presenter, will you be able to see my screen? It's already to
Sure.
play. I will do the same exact thing that you're doing, but I'm also going to run it on Carrier 2000. There's like
20,000, right?
Yeah, 20,000. But that is the question that I have. ICM phase 2. So see, phase 1 ICM and phase 2 ICM, the way I'm saying, is phase 2 ICM will already have whatever is there in phase 1 also. So
Okay, so it's a consolidated so phase 2.
Yeah, just gonna confirm. Because system parameters and all those that the team did, there were a lot of them that the team put in. So wow, so that's like 450 test cases. All these are system parameter custom report validations. Still are pending. Yeah. So all these details are there with us, Ramu. What's pending? So when I'm running phase 2, major part of phase 1 also will get executed. So that's a good thing for us. I'm seeing my end, what all we have. And so this phase 1 and then this phase 2. Such validation. You there, Ramu? All right, that's it from my side, Ramu then, and team. I'm gonna end the session. I'm executing things at my end also, so let's see how that goes. I just want to make sure I'm doing everything correctly, and I'll share with you once done. All the modules, test cases, everything are there. In phase 1, phase 2. Phase 2. Okay, team, thank you. Bye now. I'm outlining some Excels. I'll execute it my end and also share. Bye. Thank you all. Thanks, Ramu. Thanks, team.